Something has been stalking me for weeks. It all started when I moved back to my childhood home, a small, creaky place tucked away in the middle of nowhere, the kind of town where you could count the neighbors on one hand and still have fingers left over. I needed a change after my divorce, and my parents' old house seemed like a quiet refuge. It wasn't long before I started hearing the noises. They always began around sundown. Soft shuffling sounds coming from the edge of the woods behind the house. At first I brushed it off as deer or coyotes. This area had always been rife with wildlife, but as the days passed, the noises got closer and stranger. It would start as faint footsteps, crunching leaves underfoot, then a low, guttural growl would follow. It wasn't quite animal, but not entirely human either. The first time I heard it, my stomach twisted into knots. I locked the doors and windows and didn't sleep until dawn. By the third night, I decided to investigate. Armed with a flashlight and a baseball bat, I ventured to the tree line. The air was unnaturally still. Not even a single cricket chirped. I shined the flashlight into the woods, expecting to see glowing animal eyes reflecting back. Instead, I saw nothing. The beam of light seemed to vanish into the darkness, as if the trees themselves were swallowing it. Then I heard my name, whispered. Not from the house, but from somewhere deep in the woods. My blood turned cold. It wasn't just my name, it was my name said in my own voice. I bolted back inside, locked the door, and didn't look back. After that, the noises stopped for a while, but I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Even in broad daylight, I felt its presence. Something lingered in the shadows, always just out of sight. Sometimes I'd catch a glimpse of movement out of the corner of my eye, but when I turned to look, there was nothing there. One night I was lying in bed, trying to convince myself it was all in my head. Then, around 2 a.m., I woke up to a soft tapping sound. It was coming from my window. My room is on the second floor. I froze, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. The tapping continued, rhythmic and deliberate. Gathering every ounce of courage I had, I turned my head slowly toward the window. There it was, a face pressed against the glass, pale and gaunt with hollow eyes that glowed faintly in the moonlight. It was smiling, not a friendly smile, but one that stretched too wide, like it was mocking me. My throat tightened as I tried to scream, but no sound came out. And then it spoke. It used my voice again. "Let me in," it said, softly but insistently. Something in my mind snapped. I scrambled out of bed and ran downstairs. I don't even remember grabbing my car keys, but the next thing I knew, I was driving as fast as I could, my tires kicking up gravel as I fled. I ended up at a motel about 20 miles away. I locked myself in the bathroom and stayed there until morning, clutching the baseball bat. Eventually, exhaustion overtook me and I fell asleep. When I woke up, it was morning. Everything seemed normal. To normal, I told myself it was over. Maybe it had all been some kind of stress-induced hallucination. I decided to head back home, hoping to gather some clothes and figure out what to do next.